Hi guys, it's Intuitive 144. This is my fourth time trying to record this. I hope this is the last. All right, I am a psychic medium along with being a physical medium. If you're interested in booking me, $20 for a picture reading, $50 for a 30-minute reading, and $100 for an hour. I want to say shout out, give a huge thanks to Miss Margaret. She sent a donation. She said, hey, is it possible you could, channel him? Now, it took about 4 to 5 days. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to tap into him, but today I finally was able to do so. So let's get started, all right? Anytime I say I meditated on somebody's energy, it means like, why are they cracking fireworks? Like, just annoying. And it's 2 in the morning, like, yo, they kill me because it's like every time I record, the BS starts. It's like they literally wait for me to record. But anytime I say I meditate on somebody's energy, I mean, I actually lay down and I close my eyes. I relax all the muscles in my body and I chant, like kind of like chant their name. And then I, the messages, the visions spirit starts speaking. All right, so let's get straight into it. So they took me to him as a kid. Now, very poor. His parents or whoever he was surrounded by was extremely poor, but they made sure that he wasn't in an energy of lack. So they tried their best, to buy him toys or whatever he would find interest in. Now, this is interesting because I don't feel like he liked toys. It was more so of random objects. Now, in the vision, they showed me him ripping paper, literally ripping paper. He's going like this in the vision, ripping paper, then piecing it back together and studying the anatomy, the shape, the kind of tear, and trying to, figure out, does this tear belong with this tear to make it connect again? Very interesting. He did this for a long time. All right. So I wrote, he studied the anatomy of things and helped it come to life. So literally, like I was just, saying, breaking something or tearing something apart, then putting it back together. Yeah, I was trying to hear what they were saying. So I wrote, he would make an awesome plastic surgeon, okay? Now, autism was coming up for him, all right? I don't want you guys to be like, oh, you say that for almost everybody you channel. A lot of people are undiagnosed, let me say that. And I don't say that for everybody because I have gotten a few interesting comments, okay? Autism, autism is coming up for him, and it's nothing wrong with being autistic, right? Extremely, extremely, extremely intelligent. So I wrote, they're showing me visions of him staring at objects such as buildings, hats, shirts, cards, whatever, and wondering how it was constructed. For example, let's say he stared at a lemon cake, right? He would look at this lemon cake and he would ask himself, did the baker add flour or sugar first? Did they shake the bat? No, I'm sorry. Did the baker add flour or sugar first? And what would happen if they shook the batter rather than stirred it? Would it have the same texture? What would be different? I wrote, I'm sorry, would it come out the same way? Like what would be different about this lemon cake if they were to, stir it or shake it, So sorry, because I'm trying to listen to what they're saying. All right. So whoever he worked, then the energy shifted, okay? So from him as a little kid until like now an adult, I want to say around 20s to late 20s to early 30s, okay? Now, whoever he worked with, they're showing me a vision of 7 white men, and they absolutely loved him. They took care of him. They make sure he was fed, well taken care of. I don't feel like he experienced rape discrimination from them specifically, from them only. All right. It looked like they even gave him his own work area. You know, they wanted to make sure he was as comfortable as possible, all right? However, I felt and seen one person was studying him, staring at him, not micromanaging, but in a subtle way, like walking past his office, not to see, you know, what he's up to, but to see how he's able to do this. It was more so they wanted to like do a copy and paste, if that makes sense, like copy his work and make it into their own. I wrote, it felt like this person watched so they could eventually take credit for his work. Okay, now then the energy shifted again. And throughout this entire meditation, they kept showing me a ninja blender, and I'm like, what do you like? Come on, why are you showing me this? So then the energy shifted. I wrote, he invented a lot of things that he never received credit for. He invented a lot of things that he never received credit for, such as the blender. Spirit kept showing me a blender. Now, if you go on Google and you search up, you know, who invented the blender, you're going to see a white man. Spirit said fallacies. Let me give you an example of why they said fallacies. So let's say I invent pizza, right? But you stole my idea and added toppings on pizza, or made it thin crust, thick crust, you know, stuffed cheese, and you're walking around town saying you invented pizza and you pretty much gained notoriety from it. You know, it's kind of like that. Like, that's like me inventing cupcakes and you put a little icing on the top with a cherry on top of the icing and walk around town saying you invented cupcakes and now you're famous because you so-called invented cupcakes. It's like you didn't. You just added sprinkles, like, you know. So that's pretty much what happened with the blender and a lot of his inventions, unfortunately. All right, don't come at me in the comments. This is what I've been told. I kind of believe this. I do, because this has been going on for so long with Black people. You know, the colonizers. Oh, let me remove my opinion out of this. I have to remember to remain unbiased. So I wrote, a lot of times he would write angle degrees down. I know you guys are like, what are you talking about? I'm going to insert a clip to have you guys understand everything that I'm saying. A lot of times he would write angle degrees down, some math problems and abbreviations to help him remember how to put stuff together. Now, okay, and I'm going to insert a clip. Now, the same person from earlier that would watch him so he could copy and take his credit for his inventions came in the vision and creeped in his room to read these instructions on his inventions, but he couldn't interpret it, all right? So let me insert the video now. All right, so let's say I make Jello shots and instead of writing down what I'll be using, I write it in my own terms. Now I'm inserting the video. Hi guys, so here below I have an example of what I'm talking about, just so you guys can understand a little bit more of what I see in visions and blah, blah, blah. So this is an example of how he operated. So Jello shots, right? For example, you have no idea what, like, can you take a guess on what you think the letter B stands for? Take a guess, all right? So for him, my handwriting is terrible, I know. The B stood for Bacardi. The gel R, all right, would stand for red Jello, right? Nobody knew this but him. Now the T Times Square, or however, this would mean Tito's, okay? All right, this would stand for the second generation, or just the two. He would just have the two there to help him understand things a little bit better. Now, can you take a guess on what you think the R times 2 means? Take a guess. This would be refrigerate for 2 hours. So that's that's like, okay, obviously if I cover this, you would have no idea what this would mean for him, right? But this is what it meant. So that's how they allowed me to understand. All right, so only George understood what this meant, obviously, because he wrote it. All right, I don't feel like it was intentional, but it did work in his favor. All right. Ooh. Besides that, though, he was very soft-spoken. He kind of reminded me of Michael Jackson in terms of the soft baby voice. Very soft, very soft-spoken. Very quiet, and he kept to himself. He was extremely healthy. Now, I tried to dig into his romance, you know, his romance life, that makes no sense. I tried to dig into romances for him, but not much would come up. I feel like if he was romantically involved with somebody, it didn't get that far. It's something with he put his work over everything, or I don't know, maybe he could have, I don't know. I wasn't really connecting with that. But that is all that I have. Take care. $20 for a picture reading, $50 for a 30-minute reading, and $100 for an hour. Bye.